After last night's election today, President Trump acknowledged that there's a warning light flashing for his party.
Last night it was not expected to be a victory. It was very Democrat areas, but I don't think it was good for Republicans. I don't think it was good. I'm not sure it was good for anybody. But we had an interesting evening and we learned a lot.
Now, the fact is we don't see President Trump acknowledge any loss very often. So his comments this morning were significant. It's also important to know, at the very same time, other Republicans suggested that the party shouldn't read too much into last night's results because these were races happening in blue states. So it was no surprise that Democrats had blowout victories all over the place. But during that breakfast meeting with Senate Republicans today, Trump went on to say there was actually two reasons why Republicans performed so poorly last night.
But I thought we'd have a discussion after the press leaves about what last night represented and what we should do about it, and also about the shutdown, and how that relates to last night. I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans. And that was a big factor, and they say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor.
And that's also significant. Trump has never admitted before that Republicans are the ones being blamed for this current government shutdown, which as of today is the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. But instead of taking last night's losses as a warning that maybe Republicans should change their strategy and instead maybe negotiate with Democrats to try and find an end to the shutdown, today, Trump doubled down and said Republicans should just plow through the Democrats and end the shutdown on their own using the controversial nuclear option.
It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation. There'll be no legislation passed for 3.25. We have 3.25 years, so that's a long time. But when they can't do an extension, and John, I think they've done an extension every single time they've ever been asked forever. This is the first time they haven't done an extension. Extensions are supposed to be easy, but if they won't do an extension, they won't do any bill, even a simple bill. And we should do our own bills. We should get out. We should do our own bills. We should open up. We should start tonight with the country's.
Democrats' victory that has just blown the mind of everybody in America today. They are surprised. They can't imagine. Right now, there is a shock moving across America, political world, everybody or everyone is like, what really happened? Because yesterday, Democrats didn't just win. They swept. They took seats Republicans thought were untouchable. And the name trending everywhere, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere, in whole America. One man called Mom Danny. Mom Danny didn't just squeeze a win. Mom Danny ran through the map. And today, Republican supporters are asking, what just happened? This is Mr. Global. Subscribe here, share, leave a comment for the video because I have more to show you. I'm not sharing with you. I have here some clips. Watch them. I'll come back with more commentary. So subscribe and stay tuned.
Hey, what's up, America? The Democrats win everything last night. So we need to talk about how this could have happened, how Democrats won every single election last night. Because even though I've been saying that Democrats were going to win everything for a month on this page, everybody thought this wasn't going to happen. But it looks like it fucking happened. The worst nightmare finally came true. So first of all, the governor of Virginia is now a Democrat. The governor of New Jersey is now a Democrat. Zohran Mamdani, a Democrat socialist, has taken over New York City. California's Proposition 50 also passes, meaning they're going to redistrict the state. And a partridge and a fucking pear tree. So how could this possibly happen? How could we go from a Donald Trump blowout defeating Kamala Harris to Democrats sweeping the field? Well, like I've said many times leading up to this, the perception is that Republicans left the poor in the middle class and that Donald Trump broke his promises, even if he kept some of them. So you want to know why this happened? You want to know why Democrats swept to victory last night? First of all, we were supposed to have a functioning Department of Government Efficiency. That didn't work out very well. We started cutting a lot of waste and then it just kind of stopped. Then there was the stimulus checks or the rebate check promise, which never fucking materialized. Don't forget the no tax on tips and no tax on Social Security. Of course, that ends in 2028. So that's not a permanent tax. People noticed that. And of course, prices for groceries, houses, cars, insurance, utilities, none of it's come down. Gas prices have come down slightly, but not enough for people to really notice. And then you say, gee, how could Democrat socialists win? How could Democrat...
Let's break this down. Republicans has been focusing on cultural fight, outrage politics, fear messaging. Meanwhile, every day Americans are dealing with rent skyrocketing, grocery doubling, gas price rising, medical bill stacking, and many people are tired of this. They don't want yelling. They don't want drama. They don't want relief. Mamdani won because the message was political. Lower costs, better wages, stability, normal life, and no chaos, no anger, just solutions. And that hit home. As usual, when somebody is coming to maybe to vie or campaign, when he promise you anything, you believe in him. When you see the new ones coming, you believe and you give them the votes. Now, the election is fury. It's just unimaginable. MAGA forum are melting down. People are saying we didn't show up. The movement is falling apart. How did the Democrats take everything? But the truth is simple. The MAGA base is exhausted. You won't live in a constant fear mode forever.
We are now approaching the longest shutdown in American history.
Democrats' fault.
Under your presidency, we're talking about more than 1 million federal workers who are not getting a paycheck, including our air traffic controllers. You see there's traffic snarls out at the airports now.
Sure.
This weekend, food aid for more than 42 million Americans is set to expire. What are you doing as president to end the shutdown?
All we're doing is we keep voting. I mean, the Republicans are voting almost unanimously to end it, and the Democrats keep voting against ending it. You know, they've never had this. This has happened like 18 times before. The Democrats always voted for an extension, always saying, give us an extension, we'll work it out. They've lost their way. They've become crazed lunatics. And all they have to do, Nora, is say, let's vote.
Senate Democrats say they will vote to reopen the government if Republicans agree to extend subsidies for over 20 million Americans who use Obamacare for their health insurance.
Obamacare is terrible. It's bad health care at far too high a price. We should fix that. We should fix it. And we can fix it with the Democrats. All they have to do is let the country open and we'll fix it. They have to let the country open and I'll sit down with the Democrats and we'll fix it. But they have to let the country. And
so
you know what they have to do? All they have to do is raise 5 hands. We don't need all of them.
But so you're saying your plan is to tell the Democrats to vote to end the shutdown.
Correct. Very simple.
And that you will put forward a health care plan?
No, we will work on fixing the bad health care that we have. Right now, we have terrible health care at too expensive for the people. Not for the government, for the people.
But, Mr. President, with all due respect, you've been talking about fixing the health care insurance plan since 2015.
Do it because of the Democrats.
But since 2015, you've said you'd fix it.
I've been talking about it for a long time. We almost did it. We were 1 vote short. We would have had great health care.
That was in 2017, when Senate Republicans failed by 1 vote to partially repeal Obamacare.
We can make it much less expensive for people and give them much better health care.
But where is that
plan? And I'd be willing to work with the Democrats on it. The problem is they want to give money to prisoners, to drug dealers, to all these millions of people that were allowed to come in with an open border from Biden, and nobody can do that. Not one Republican would ever do that.
My understanding is if those health care subsidies are not extended, premiums will double for many of the people that are on it. And I was looking into it. 3/4 of these people will see their healthcare premiums double, live in states where you won in the last election. I mean, even here in Florida has the highest number of residents on Obamacare in the country.
And I'm saying we can fix it, Nora.
People burn out, and when they burn out, they stop voting for anyone who is trying to play with their mind. This election wasn't just a win, it was a temperature check. America is tired of chaos. People are choosing calm over conflict, normal life over political warfare. If this trend continues, the entire political map is about to shift again. This story is unfolding.
I don't know about you guys, but tonight my heart is full of something I have not felt in almost a year, and that is good. Because there it is. Because last night, Democrats swept the first major elections of Trump's second term. That's right. There it is. Yes, today, Democrats are walking around with a spring in their step like a divorced mom in her 40s whose new haircut just got her carded at 2 different bars. Look out, world. It's a whole new Melissa.
Terrible election news for Donald Trump. The Democrats are victorious as far as you can see, from California to New York to New Jersey to Pennsylvania to Virginia and Texas and more. The Democrats have swept everything. They've swept everything. Donald Trump and the Republicans have lost everything. They've lost all the major races so far tonight. And the midterms are coming, and typically the White House loses 26 seats in the midterms, and Donald Trump lost 41 in 2018, which means the House will go back to the Democrats, and the Senate usually flips 4 seats, flips back to the Democrats. It's not good for Donald Trump. You know those walls in the White House are covered in ketchup as far as you can see. There's probably no ketchup to be bought in Washington, D.C., Virginia, or Maryland. And Donald Trump has a lot of it to blame. Actually, it's all Donald Trump. He's fulfilled none of his promises. The economy is not going well. Inflation is continuing to be out of control. His trade wars have only cost farmers, companies, and others their jobs and their livelihoods. He's not making America great again. He's not making America first again. We can't feed our people on SNAP. We can't pay now because of Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill, the subsidies on the Affordable Care Act. People are going to have to deal with that problem and potentially give up their insurance. And it's all because of Donald Trump. And all these problems are made by Donald Trump. None of these had to be so. But they were so desperate to give all this money to the rich, this massive tax cut, that's who it goes to, that the rest of us are suffering. But guess what? Guess who's going to suffer at the ballot box? Donald Trump suffered at the ballot box tonight, and you wait next year in the midterms. It's going to be worse. Going to be worse. So there you have it. Keep up the good work. Keep educating everybody about what's going on. The battle for the election and control of the House and the Senate move forward, and to get a Democrat in the White House in 2028. And clearly it will not be Donald Trump again. Love you for my Democrats, my MAGAs, my...
And now let's see how a communist does in New York. We're going to see how that works out. And we'll help him. We'll help him. We want New York to be successful. We'll help him a little bit, maybe.
I will not mince my words when it comes to President Trump. I will continue to describe his actions as they are, and I will also always do so while leaving a door open to have that conversation, because it cannot be understood as if it is an argument between two individuals. I am looking to lead this entire city, and everything that I do must be to the benefit of this city, and I look forward to delivering for that same city.
If you want to see what congressional Democrats wish to do to America, just look at the result of yesterday's election in New York, where their party installed a communist as the mayor of the largest city in the nation. Remember, I've said we will never have a socialist elected to any post in our country. I used to say that, and I was right. We skipped socialist and we put in a communist instead. That didn't work out too well. But as I've warned...
This momentum is not finished. This is just the beginning. Most Americans are choosing maybe to follow a right man, right person, man who knows how people are feeling, somebody who knows how people are suffering, man who knows to change people's life. Somebody who knows how he will fix the nation. Now, they're choosing this man because they're choosing Democrat because they have tried Republican for a long time and it has failed them. So, Trump has failed them for the big time. And now Trump is thinking of having a common talk, a common talk with Mamdani, just to see if they can reopen the government, because this is the first day of the government shutdown. And yesterday, on Tuesday, the American people were so choosy. They know what they wanted. They know what they were going for. They know what they wanted to vote for, because Trump has played them for a long time. They don't want chaos. They don't want dramas. They want change. They want a new dawn. They want a new beginning. They're choosing Mamdani and the Democrats to roll over, because Democrats swept everything, every chair. No one believed, no one knew, no one has a hint of them winning, but now they won, and the only thing America has to do is to give them hand. So come 2028, Trump, I don't know if he will take over, because people are shouting they want a change. They want somebody who knows, who feels like people should live this way. People should live a good life. People should having a better living on their life, not believing somebody who come in your eyes, talk to you, lie to you, and then he leaves. He left you there. Their rents are high, foods are corrupt, everything is expensive. Today, America, everything is expensive. That's why they are leaving, choosing to go to somewhere, to build their own new life, to build their dream life in some other countries. And they are costing the countries, but now, also, they're human beings. They have to live life they want. Anybody has to live life they want. Even if you wish to live in the bush, as long as you're living the life that you want, well, not good, go live there. Achieve your dreams. Go there. Subscribe here, share, leave a comment. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think about Democrats sweeping every chair in America? They swept everything in America. Tell me, how do you feel as an American who have been there seeing Trump exploiting you, Trump destroying your economy, Trump destroying your lives? Families have been losing everything. Now, it's just a new beginning. The story will never end. This is where awareness met reality and the story continues. Subscribe. Until next time, I'm out and peace be with you.